Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Liferay Dev.life Hangout. My name is James Faulkner, Liferay Community Manager, or Liferay Community Tumblr, take your pick. Today we have a really great session on a really cool feature in Liferay 6.2, but before we get there, I wanted to, if it's your first time at our sessions, what these are hangouts with Liferay developers where it's kind of hands-on. It's not just a one-way presentation. You learn a little bit about something related to Liferay development, hopefully. It's anywhere from 45 to 90 minutes, and we do it generally every other week. Sometimes we do it every week, depending on how much content we have, but we'll generally do it at least every other week. All the sessions are recorded, and they're placed on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. I wanted to share my screen briefly and show you the sessions we have upcoming here. Hopefully I don't send us off into a black hole. So this week, if you go to the liferay.com/community/dev.life page, you'll find a calendar, a list of upcoming sessions. You'll see today we have Eduardo talking about ADTs, which we'll get to in a moment, and then there's nothing. The reason why there's nothing is because we only have one more session between now and the end of the year. So if you click on the calendar link, you can see the Google Calendar. You can actually subscribe to this calendar or add it to your own personal calendars. 2 weeks from today, we'll have Milan Dyankov with us. The topic we haven't quite finalized yet, so we're not quite sure what the topic will be, but rest assured, Milan is a sharp guy. He's been in the Liferay community and the Liferay for a long time, so he's really a good person to learn from. So we'll look forward to that, and then we'll have our holiday break, so we won't have anything until the first of the year. So bringing us back to today, so Eduardo Garcia is a core engineer in our Liferay Spain office. He's done a lot of work. He worked on application display templates. He's like the expert. And he's here today. I thank you very much, Eduardo, for coming. Let me turn off my screen share. So Eduardo, briefly, can you introduce yourself, and then I wanna say one more thing about you.
Sure. Thanks, James. So, well, as James said, my name is Eduardo Garcia, and I've been working for Liferay almost for 3 years. Currently, I work in the WCM department, and specifically, I've developed part of the application display template framework. So, I'm glad to show you some cool samples today.
Awesome. Yeah, and so one more thing I wanted to say is that Eduardo, as a result of doing this session today, has won himself a fantastic prize that any of you out there listening today, either live or on the recording, can do. If you hold a session, you get to win this fantastic T-shirt. Eduardo, take a spin around. This is an awesome T-shirt that we put together for you guys. It's very tough. You can beat up your friends with it. Yeah, it's dev.life. Right, exactly. So if you do a session, you can win one of these fantastic T-shirts. There's very limited supply, so you can impress your friends, and you can, yeah, just be proud to be part of our community and giving a little bit back. So without further babbling on my part, I will hand it over to Eduardo for today's session. So take it away, Eduardo.
Okay, thank you, James. So, well, as James said, application display templates is a very cool feature in Liferay, and today I'm going to show you how to use it in a very practical way. So, I'm going to split this presentation in 3 blocks. The first one will be how to use application display templates to customize how Liferay Portal looks like. Then we will see how to apply application display template to your own plugins, to your custom plugins. And finally, we'll see how to distribute your templates in several ways. Okay. So in order to do this presentation, I have shared some materials. Let me just share my screen.
Oh, and by the way, if any of you have any questions for Eduardo, you can type them into the IRC chat room or the YouTube chat, and we'll get to those answers as quickly as possible.
So can you, James, can you see my screen now?
Yep, I sure can.
So this James shown earlier, this is the page of the Liferay dev.life sessions, and for mine, we have shared these materials here. Okay, so the plugins you need so first of all, you need to install Liferay 6.2 Liferay bundle. You can obtain it from from this link. Okay, simply download it and zip it, and you are ready. Then once you start your bundle, you have to copy these 4 plugins into your deploy folder, so they get deployed. And what you get as a result of this is a cool sample site like this one, okay, which is the live radio, okay, and it contains some samples that we are going to use today to show you how ADTs work in a more realistic way, okay. And apart from these plugins, we have also shared 6 links to code snippets in GitHub, okay. These are the pieces of code we're going to use during the exercises. So you just have to copy and paste in the places I will show you. Okay. So okay, let's get started. One of the good things with application display templates is that you don't need, at least for this very first block of the presentation, any external tool. All you need is your Liferay Portal, because the application display template editor is integrated. Okay. So what we're going to do for this first part is try to customize how this page looks like by adding new application display templates for the asset publisher portlet, which is this one here. And we'll see little by little how we can use application display templates to make our website look better. Okay. So to do this, you just have to go to the site administration, and under the configuration sections, you will find this link, the application display template section. Okay, so all you have to do is to select the type of application display template you want to add. In this case, it's a template for the asset publisher. Click here. Let's enter a name. So for this first exercise, will be a basic list. And here, what you have, well, let me maximize this area. You can do it by hiding the left bar. So what you see here is what I mentioned earlier. This is the online editor. Okay, so this is a very useful tool because you don't need to know much about the variables available for in Liferay. You have this palette here where you can search for terms, and you see it has a filter feature. So as I said, this is very useful. You also have help hints about what every variable is for. Okay. In our case, we are going to add a very simple application display template for the asset publisher, just to show you how the editor works. Okay, so the easiest way is to click here on this variable, the asset entries. As you can read here, it represents a list of the available assets. Okay, so any content that is displayed by the asset publisher is contained in this list of variables. Okay, so if you click here, what you get is a snippet of the code you need to iterate over this variable. Okay, over this list. If we simply do this and save, okay, let me show you. And we go back to our page. This is, as I mentioned, an asset publisher. Now, under the display settings of this portlet, you will now see the basic list we have just added. Okay, so let's select it and click Save. And now we see, we see a very not so fancy, but this is our first ADT, our first list. It's basically a list with the title of all the items displayed by this application display template. Okay, so as I said, this is not the coolest display you can do, but it's been just a 20 seconds effort. Okay, and you have been able to customize your asset publisher without any external tool or without any deployment. Okay, so let's now start doing the exercises with the code snippets where we have shared. Okay, so let's go back to our simple list application display template, and for this first exercise, we're going to use the first set of snippets. So let's see this first one. basic list. So as you see, there are small comments in the snippets to tell you what to do with this code. So in this case, we have to replace the code inside the list section with this code. Okay, so I copy it, and I just have to replace this code, okay, inside. Let's see the result, and then I will explain what we have done. So, okay, I just reloaded the page because I'm using the same template. What you see now is the result of applying this code to our asset publisher. So what we have now is a number representing the position of the item in the list, the title of the item, and also a link to see the item in full view. Okay, so how did we do this? So if you take a look, what we're doing inside this the list, the iteration is to first obtain the asset renderer of the current entry, of the current content. Okay, since the asset renderer since the asset publisher story may display any type of content like blogs or web content, and they are all different, we need something that allow us to access to the common contents that every type of element provides, like title or summary. So the asset renderer is an utility we have for this purpose. So we can obtain it for every asset entry, and from this through the asset renderer we have access to the common elements that every content share. For example, the title here. So this is a way to obtain the title of every entry displayed in the asset publisher. We can also very simply obtain the link to the full view of the element. And in this case, we have to consider how the asset publisher has been configured. So that's what we do in this section here. So basically, what we're doing is to check if the asset behavior of this portlet is set to viewing context or in full or in inside the portlet. Okay, so we will see the content displayed inside our asset publisher or in a new page. And finally, what we've done here is to display the title we've obtained earlier, but with a prefix that is the position of this element in the list. Okay. So as a result, as I showed you earlier, we have this, and what I mentioned earlier about the behavior is we have two options. We can see the asset inside, the full view inside the portlet, or we can display it in a new page. So if I select this, for example, then by clicking in a link, we will see the full view of this element. Okay, in this case, this album. So with this, with just these few lines, we've managed to customize the asset publisher in a more fancy way. Now we have a number list with the title and a link. Okay, but we are going to continue with this exercise to make our list more complex. Let's go to the second one. Okay, in this case, we're going to display the ratings for every item in the list of the asset publisher. For this, we have to do two steps. First, we have to add this line to the top of our template. So I'm going to paste it here. Well, you can remove this comment if you want. Okay, and we are also going to copy this below the asset abstract code, which is this here. Okay, so okay, so let's see the result, and then I will explain how we did it. If I now reload the page, oh, there is nothing new here. Well, the reason is that we haven't enabled the ratings in the configuration. Okay, so for this, you have to come here to display settings and check the enable ratings box, and we are done. So now you see the ratings. Okay, how did we do this? So first of all, let's check this first line here. What we're doing is to access a collection of tag libs that Liferay provides, which are the Liferay UI tag libs. The tag libs are pieces of code that you can that contains some views, like in this case the ratings, and they can be very easily reused across the different views. Okay, so in our case, instead of coding the whole ratings logic, we have reused this ratings tag that Liferay provides. So with only this code here, we have managed to display the ratings. Why do we need this if clause in this section? Because we want to honor the settings in the asset publisher configuration. So we have a setting which is enable ratings. Okay, so we want to check whether it is true or false, and only if it is set to true, if ratings are enabled, we will display the box with the ratings. Okay, so that's why we couldn't see it before I enable it in the configuration of the asset publisher. So we're almost done with this very first exercise. Let's see the last part. So okay, we are going to add these two lines at the almost at the end of our code, right before the closing tag of the if clause, and now I will show you why. So I have to add it here, and there we are. Okay, so let's see what the result is, and let me show you, and I will explain you later why we did this. So if you reload the page now, you won't see any effect. Let me change the settings of this asset publisher so that it only displays a different type of content, songs. In the examples we provided, there are no songs, so the asset publisher will display empty. So you see now the asset is empty. What happens if we sign out the portal? Sorry. So we now see we don't see the portlet at all, but we see a blank space. That's what those lines at the end of our template do. Okay. Without these lines, we will see an empty box, but we will still see a box that represents the asset publisher. So we need these lines. So in case there are no in case the list is empty, there are no assets to display of the selected type. The portlet is not displayed at all when for anonymous users. Okay. These kind of behaviors are up to the template developer. You can decide to display a custom message like no contents available, for example. But for this example, I just wanted to reproduce the same behavior we use for in Liferay portlets. Okay. So this is our first example. This basic list. Okay. So we've managed to display a number of lists. Let me go back to the page. And which is number, which can display let me show it again, the songs and artists. Okay. So as I said, we have managed to display the number of every item, a link to the full content, the ratings depending on the configuration, and in case there are no results to display, the box will the portlet won't be displayed at all for anonymous users. Okay. So this is the first exercise, just as a introduction about of what you can achieve with application display templates. Let's move to the next exercise. For this, we are going to add a new template, so of the same type as the publisher, and this time will be an enhanced list. And we're going to start. We could start with the same structure. Okay, just click in here. But in this case, let's first have a look at the snippet. Okay, so we are going to replace or to copy all this code inside the editor. Okay, so we don't have to add the base code from the editor. Okay, I'm going to save it and see how it looks like, and then I will display what every line is for. Okay, now in the page we're going to select our enhanced list from the list of display templates and save. Well, it looks more or less the same as what we have earlier. So we have a number and a link. Okay, so what's different in this case? Let's see here. Well, we've added some new styles. Okay. If you take a look at the well, this is basically the same we did earlier. Okay, to obtain the title and the URL from the asset renderer. And what the new thing is here, this block, we have put more attention in the styles. Okay, and just to make a more fancy list. Okay, we are going to split our every item of our list in several areas to display different information. And for that, we are going to reuse some styles that the portal provides by default. For example, these span styles are helpful to divide the layout in several columns. Okay, so in this case, in the first position, we are displaying the index, and in the second position we display the title. Let's see with the next steps how to display more elements in the list. Okay.
Hey, Eduardo.
Yeah.
Real quick, the enhanced list 2 and enhanced list 3 are identical. I think there's something missing.
Oh, maybe okay. I will take it. Oh, yep. I think one step is missing. I'm going to upload it later. So let me. Okay, let me open. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, that's my fault. Probably I named both the same. So I'm going to.
Yeah, if you just put it back in the Google Drive, I can.
Yeah, I will. So you can upload it now. Yeah, just 1 second. So. I see. Okay, I'm going to add a new one with the code I need.
Hey guys, you is there any document you look at?
Okay, let me. I'm going to share it right now, so you'll have it. So it's been updated. Now you have to use the. I'm going to remove the old one. Okay. So what now? Now you have it. I'm going to use it from here. Okay. So. Oh well. Okay. I will copy the code from my own file, and you can now obtain it from the links in the page. Okay. Sorry for this, guys. Well, basically, I'm going to show you how the code in the second step look like. Going back to the editor, what we're going to do with that code is to replace this part here with a new code. So it's a more complex code. It contains the previous one plus some new layers. As you can see here, apart from the index, we've added a new layer with the image, with the preview image of this item, and here right below the title, what we already had, I've added the summary. Okay, to obtain the summary, as you see, we also and the image, we are using the asset renderer too. Okay, this is this tool I described earlier to access to some content, to some information that are common in different contents, like web content or blogs. Okay, and as you can see, I have access from my templates to some utility classes in Liferay, like the HTML util to escape the characters of the summary, just to prevent errors, and also I can shorten the summary to make it shorter than 50 characters. Okay, I can also display a link with a read more, and I want this link to be translated, so I can use this macro, which is also available in the templates, to translate very easily this key here to the language that the current user is using. Okay, so let's see how this looks like. This piece of code will be available in the second step of the enhanced list sample. So now you see the result. We have the number, we have an image, we have the title, we have the summary, and we have a link to the full view of this content. Okay, so this will be, as I said, the second step for our enhanced list. We've managed to display a very customized list, very different to the one that the asset policy provides by default, and with almost all the information that the asset renderer can extract from for us, like the image, the title, the link, the summary, and so on. Okay, so now we're going to go even further with the customization of our list. We have to, following the instructions of the enhanced list step 3 snippet, we're going to grab the code inside the if clause with this code. Okay, so basically we have to put it here. So let me copy, and now I'm going to place it here instead of, well, I'm going to remove this comment. Okay, so oh, sorry, I have to copy it right below the
complex functionalities such as staging is actually tested throughout. This is what we haven't done as well.
Okay, this is my code in the step 3, and now I'm going to place my code inside this section. Okay, so basically all I have here.
I talked to John, and she said that
I'm going to add it
was to work with you guys to do
here. Okay,
to develop automated tests.
I'm going to remove these extra lines, and we are done with the steps. Okay, so basically we have only added a new structure to organize our information. Okay, I will explain later how what structure this is, and we've copied the content of our previous step inside this one of those sections. Okay, as explained in the comments. Let's save and see the result. Okay, so this is very different to what we have. What we did is, first of all, we split our view into two tabs. Okay, a list view and a chart view. And the first one, the list view, is exactly the same thing we achieved in the second step of this exercise. Is this enhanced list with the images and the titles and all. Okay, and we have this second view with a chart representing the ratings of every item in a different way. In this case, we are using a chart, a bar chart. Okay, how did we do that? So first of all, we split the view into two tabs. This is done through another tag lib. You remember that tag libs are pieces of code that we can reuse to achieve more complex views, like the ratings. In this case, we have done it. We have reused the tabs tag lib to split our view into two tabs: the list one and the chart one. Okay. And for the first one, for the list chart, we simply added inside the first section, the first tab, the content of our enhanced list. Okay, this is this part here. And for the second one, we have this code here. And now I will explain what this is. So we've talked about reusing code with the tag libs, but we can also reuse templates in application display templates. So this one here, the charts bar, is included in the contents that are installed when you deploy the Word files in distributed as materials of this session. Okay, this command allows us to reuse some specific templates, which we call generic templates, inside another application display templates. Okay, let's see where this template is and how it looks like. To find it, you have to go to where the materials are installed. In this case, is the global scope. Here you will see many examples. Okay, but you won't find the charts here. You have to go to web content, and here you have to manage the templates. Okay, so this feature I'm talking about was already available in Liferay 6.1. Okay, this is you can add templates that are not associated to a specific structure, but are simply pieces of free marker or velocity code, and that can be reused from any other template. Not only application display templates, but also web content templates or DDL templates, dynamic data list templates. So in this case, we added, or more specifically, those words you deployed added these two samples here. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one, the charts one, and you see there is a template key. Okay, the chart bars. This is the key you have to use to include the template in your application from your application display template. Okay, so once you know the key, it is so easy as adding this include line with the template key. What we did in this to achieve this graph is basically to use an already viable library in JavaScript library in Liferay, which is the charts library, and we iterate in the same way as we did in the for the enhanced list over the list of entries, and we populate the JSON object with the contents of every item. In this case, we populate it with the title and with the ratings. Okay, and we configure our chart. This is all documented in the charts YUI library, and we are done. So this will display a bar charts with where every bar represents the ratings available for every item. Okay, we could have included this other one. Oh, sorry, the columns chart, by simply using this key instead. Okay, let's see how to do this. So charts column. Let's go back to our site. and to the ADT section, to our enhanced list, and let's replace this code with this code and see what the result is. So now instead of bars we see columns. It's more or less the same, okay, but it's just using this chart library of the YUI project in a different way. You can also display pie charts and any other kind of graph. Okay, so with this example, we have seen how easy it is to completely change our asset publisher from a very simple list to a list that displays pictures or even graphs through application display templates. Okay, of course, the more you know about Liferay and how the library views are made with stack libs and all, the more complex your application display templates can be. But I'll encourage you all to try to play with the samples, with the provided examples, to see how far you can go in the customization of your portlets with application display templates. These are the two exercises I wanted to show you today for this first part. But I'm going to give a quick view to the examples that we distributed with the materials. Okay, so this is the site that you will get installed once you deploy those elements. It contains several pages. Okay, so in every page contains portlets that you can customize with application display templates. Okay, let's see another example with blocks. Okay, so let's see and let's customize this one. Okay, as I saw earlier, the examples provided have been installed in the global scope of your Liferay portal. This way, you can reuse those samples in every site you add to your installation. You will find those samples under the global section of your display template selector. In this case, I'm going to use this map one. Okay. And this is the result. This portlet here is also an asset publisher, but we've been able to transform it into a map that displays the content list as positions inside the map. But and it's been customized so that you can, if there is any picture available, it will be displayed here. You get also the title with a link to the full view. You have the summary, and you can even edit the content here. Okay. And you will see the result in the sorry.
Hey Eduardo, there's a question on IRC. Yeah. Do application display templates take into account the permissions of the user or the website?
Well, it's yes, but in this case, you have you have the power to override those permissions. So you have to follow the good practices that for example, that any plugin developer will follow. I mean, you should use in case you use services which are by default blocked for application display templates. But in case you use them, you should use the remote version of the service, that the one that takes permissions into account. Let me show you. This is a very good question. How this edit button has been surrounded with permission checking. Okay, but since you have the code, since you have the power to display whatever you want, you also have to manage the permission checking. Okay, so I'm going to show you how that map looks like. Again, we're moving to the global scope to see the provided samples. This is the map here. So there should be okay, well, it's a bit long, but I'm going to try to show you. So we have this macro. A macro is a piece of code that can be reused across the template. Okay, in this case, it's just to obtain the this bubble, the bubble you see when you click a position in the map. Okay, it contains many things, and among them there is the edit icon. Okay, the edit icon is basically a taglet containing the edit icon, the picture, and a URL to the edit view of the of the asset. Okay, so if you take a look at this code, we check the permissions through the asset renderer. Okay, the asset renderer is this utility class that saves a lot of time to obtain the preview image, the title, the URL, and you can also use it to check permissions. In this case, we use it to check the edit permissions that the current users have over the selected element. Okay, so we have surrounded the edit view with the edit icon with this if clause. So unless the user has permissions to edit this a specific entry, the edit button won't be displayed. Okay. So, but so the answer is yes and no. You can handle permissions, of course, in Asset Publisher, but you have to do it manually because it's up to you. You can customize the way permissions are handled. Okay. And some specific utility classes are hidden by default. For example, the services can be. I'm going to show you now another example where we use services, and those services are not available by default. You have to change your portal properties to expose the service locator, which is an utility class to find services in your templates. Otherwise, you won't be able to use services for security reasons. Okay, so let me show you an example of this. Well, I want to show you later, but let me show you here. So in this case, I will go over this template later. But if you see, we are accessing the service, okay, through the service locator. This variable here is not always available. It depends whether you have expose it in your or unlock it in your portal service. In your portal properties. So that's why we have to check whether the service locator is available. If it is, you can find any service, either from a Liferay service or a plugin custom service, and use it in your template. Okay. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, I think it did.
Okay.
Thank you.
So again, application display templates is a very powerful tool. You can you can completely change not only the look and feel but also the behavior of your portlet. And permissions is one of the things you have to consider when coding your templates. Okay, there are many tools that make the permission checking easier, as a renderer I just showed you, and there are some security considerations that Liferay has by default, like locking the access to the services. Okay, but it's the responsibility of the developer to handle the permissions properly. Okay, one of the things we want to improve in the following versions of the product is exactly this, to provide a more fine-grained permission handling from a template. So you can expose some services but hide others depending on how critical those services are for you, and so on. Okay. So well, just a quick review of some other examples you have here. Well, this is the full list. Okay. For example, oh yeah. Regarding blocks, well, so far we have covered samples for the Asset Publisher, but the Asset Publisher is not the only portlet that supports application display templates. This one here, this is a blocks entry, sorry, a blocks portlet. Let's customize it with an application display template too. So in this case, we have this. Okay. And as you can imagine from the title, what we've done here is to display the avatar of the user that added the contents with this cool effect. Okay, so the code is also available here. This is this blocks with avatar, and you can see the code here. Okay, so as you see, it's not a very large piece of code for the change we achieved. It looks more or less the same as the structures we have seen for the asset publisher. You see to obtain the summary, we also shorten it and all. Okay, so I encourage you to go through these examples, analyze them, see how they work, and try to change things. For example, you can move layers from one side to other, or you can change the size of the summary. And once you feel more comfortable with the editor, you can try to achieve more complex things. Okay. So, well, this is the first part I wanted to cover, how to customize Liferay portlets with application display templates. But what happens with your own plugins? So one of the coolest things of Liferay is that it's a very extendable platform. You can add whatever application you want on top of it. And that's actually what our customers and users are doing every day. So they build their own applications, they deploy in Liferay, reusing some of the facilities that Liferay provides, like user management and all. But at the end, they have their own applications, and they want to use the same cool features that we have for Liferay standard portlets. Okay, so that's why we have put a lot of attention in our developers. I don't know if you know the cool Liferay. Let me show you the new Liferay developer site. So here you have access to all the information you need if you want to add applications on top of Liferay. And application display templates is not an exception. So if you click here, you will get, well, first of all, you get a definition of what application display templates are, and you get this link to information about how to apply application display templates to your own plugins. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm going to show you now, but I wanted to let you know that we are a very friendly, a very developer-friendly platform, and you will very easily find information about how to do what you want with your applications. In this case, is how to apply application display templates to your own plugins. But as you see, there is a list of things you can do with your plugins that you can find here in the dev.liferay.com page. Okay, so okay, for this to show you this, I'm going to move to the artist section. What you see here is well, is a list of artists. Of course, without any copyright. Okay, and this what you see here is precisely a custom plugin. It's a plugin that is not included in Liferay by default, but a bunch of developers here in Liferay we have developed it for educational purposes. Okay, this is the jukebox portlet, and its goal is to display to add and display artists, albums, and songs. Okay, so you can find the source code of this plugin in the repository. Let me show you this. Is in Liferay Labs. Okay, so it's github.com/Liferay Labs. You have here a list of projects. Most of them, as I said, created for the educational purposes, and one of them is the jukebox portal. Okay, so you have all the source code here, apart of from the Word file from the generated plugin that we distributed with the materials. So feel free to read the notes and to check out the repository and explore the code, because it not only contains very useful samples for application display templates that we will see now, but also how to use some other library frameworks like the Recycle Bin framework or the Asset Renderer framework. Okay, so it's a very useful example that I recommend you. So, well, moving back to this, we face exactly the same problem that, or the same challenge that many of our users and customers do. So they have their own applications and they want to use those cool features that Liferay Portlets have, like like application display templates. So how to do this? I'm going to show you the source code of this project. Okay. And I have to share another screen, sorry. Let me change this to this. Okay, now we'll make the code a bit larger so you can see it. So well, this is the this is the source code sorry of the jukebox portlet. Okay, so it follows basically the same structures as any other Liferay portlet. It contains, these are the views, and you have the source code here. Okay, so this is nothing new. What I'm going to show you is which changes we had to do to support application display templates in this portlet. Okay, so first of all, we had to add what we call a display template handler. Okay, a handler is a class that defines how the application display template will work in your portlet. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit about this. Let me hide this. Okay. So this class extends the base portlet display template handler, which contains some common logic for all template handlers. And what you have to include here is basically, as I said, how your is a definition about how your application display template will work. So, for example, we have to define the type of entity that will be displayed in your ADT. In this case, we have an entity called album that we added beforehand through the Liferay, with the Liferay service builder. Okay, so this is the entity we will display with this ADT. We also provide a name to for that we will display in the add menu of the application display template admin view. Okay, in this case, it's basically the name of the entity plus template. Okay, so it will be album template. And well, a very important part is this piece here. Okay, so you've seen the palette that helps template developers to find available variables and to read some help about those variables. So you can populate the palette with your own hints so that developers can very easily create application display templates for your portlets. So what we've done here, I will now show you the result, is to expose some variables and the type of those variables. For example, we exposed an albums variable of the type list associated to the with a variable named entries. This is a standard we have used. That's why we have this constant. And the current entry, so the one we are iterating, would be of the type album, okay, and the name will be current album. And since we want to provide a snippet that is that works, that displays something, we also provide an accessor. This is the property of the album class that will be displayed when you add the basics code snippet from the palette. Okay, I'm just going to show you in the web. So let me change to the other view. Here. So you see what I'm talking about. So you see here we have an albums template. This is what we define in the handler, okay? And if you add a new one, you get this variable albums, okay? Which is well, this is the descriptive name. Okay, it's albums, and the name of the variable with the entries is a list of entities and of the type album. Okay, so if you click here, well, as you have clicked probably below the comment, well, if you click here, you get this snippet. Okay, so it iterates over the entries variable. Okay, every item is set to the core album variable. Okay, and as you see, we have this successor name that we define in the handler. So we can display something that, just by adding this snippet from the palette. Okay, this is very useful because if I now save and well, let me give a name to this one. So basic albums. And I go, well, in this case, I have to go to the albums view. And I select these basic albums. I already get something. So it's very nice when you develop and you, even if the result is very simple, you realize that it works. Okay, so that's why it's very useful to provide these help hints in the palette, and you can do it through the template handler of your port. Okay.
Hey, Eduardo, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
The entries variable, that only contains the number based on the pagination, right? So if you set it to only show 5 at a time, you're only going to get 5
Well, that's
entries.
a very good question. So it contains what you want it to contain. So I'm going to show you now where you define that entries, that the list of entries, okay? And as you mentioned, what consequences may have your decision. So you can decide whether to reuse all the paginations, filtering, and sorting already obtained from your portlet configuration, or you can override it. Okay, so that would be the last step of this block. Okay, how to do that? So how to decide that? Okay, but that's a very good question, and reflects what I said earlier with the permissions. You have a lot of power, but you also have to make a lot of decisions. So you have to consider what to do with that power. Okay, so well, we have seen how to add the handler. Okay, let me go back to the source code. So this is our handler. It could be more complex. You can check the Java docs of the poly display template handler interface to get information about what the API is and what every method is for. Okay, but for a very first sample, this is enough. Okay, once we have added the handler, we have to declare that our portlet is using this handler. We do that through the library portlet XML of our portlet. Okay, so this is, let me make it a bit larger. So in our case, for the albums, if you take a look, we have some other handlers like the stage model, which are for the export and import and staging API. And we also have the asset renderer factory. So we have, here is where we declare the APIs that our portlet is using, and we have also the template handler. This is the point where we inform that our portlet is using an application display template handler. Okay, and the specific class that implements the portlet display template handler interface. Okay, so the first step to provide support to your for ADT in your custom plugins, to add your handler and to declare it in the Liferay Portal. Okay, so regarding permissions, we talked earlier about them. So application display templates have their own permissions, so not every user can add them. So for every type of application display template, you can define, or for every portlet, you can define specific permissions for application display templates, meaning that a user may have permissions to add ADTs for albums, but not have permissions to add ADTs for artists, for example. Okay, so to do this, you have to add these sections to the permissions in your default XML. This file, which is typically inside the resource action folder, contains the permissions configuration of your application, and it's basically a definition of the supported actions and also the default behavior for different type of users. In this case, for the albums portlet, we declare that it supports this action. Okay, so we can set up specific permissions for it and add and associate it to different roles. And by default, this action is not supported by guest or unregistered users. Okay, so that would be our second step, to add this action and the default behavior we want for it. In our case, the most common one is to lock it for guest users. So we are done with this second step. Okay. The next two steps are more related with the views, with the front end of our applications. So you notice probably that we have been changing the display template from one to other through a selector that is included in the configuration view of our portlets. So if we want our albums portlet to have this selector, we have to add it by editing the configuration view. Fortunately, you don't have to code the selector from scratch, but you simply have to add this this code here. Let me make it a bit bigger. Okay, so this field set here contains a taglet that that contains the code of this selector. You have to populate it with some preferences, which contains the display style and the site that this display style is being created to, and all. And it will automatically display a list with the available templates for your type of portlets. And in this case, all the ADTs for albums, both in the current site and also, if any, from the global scope, as we saw earlier. Okay, so that would be the third step, to add the DDM template selector or the ADT selector inside your configuration view. And the last one, okay, so far we've seen we have added the handler. We have declared that our portlet supports ADT by adding the handler in the Liferay Portal XML. We have declared the permissions. We have displayed the selector in the configuration view. But of course, we haven't yet rendered our portlet with our new templates. Okay, so for this, you have to customize the view of your portlet. In this case, if you see here on the left, we have several views for the albums. One of them is the view resources, which contains the logic to display the albums. Okay, and in this case, this is probably the most important part. Okay, we have added this new option here. Okay, so basically, if there is any template selected, okay, any application display template, we will render, and this is, I will explain this line later, but we will render the template instead of the default code, which is, well, this is the default for empty, okay, and this is the default for non-empty list. Okay, this is the code that the plugin developer provided by default to display the albums. Okay, but we are overriding that behavior, that display, with the one from our application display template through this function. Okay, and it is in this point where we add the list of entries. In this case, these albums. Okay, let's see where this album comes from. Okay, so you see here this splitlet code. We have a list of albums, and we obtain it from the services under different circumstances. It depends on the type of view and the parameters from the URL and all. Okay, so what we do is to inject into our template exactly the same list of elements that would be displayed in the default case. Okay, so that means that if this list has been paginated, it has been filtered, it's been sorted, we will observe exactly the same behavior in our application when we apply our application display template. This is a decision that has to be made by the plugin developer. So he is the one that decides what the customization point is in the view, and what list of entries will be injected into the template. And as I said, this is important for two reasons. You can decide whether to use or reuse the already filtered, sorted, and paginated list, which is the most common option, or to override it in your and add a different list, or add all the code to your ADT. The recommendation is to keep your template as short as possible and as focused in the display as possible. So if you already have logic in your portlet to handle the pagination sorting, reduce the result of that and focus on the display. But it's up to you. You can override it, because that's the power of application display templates. And a second thing you can control here is which parts of your portlet will be replaced by the code of your ADT. You may want, as in this case, to replace the whole view. You see there is no other code except from this, or you can keep some parts of your default view if you consider that they are useful and important. For example, if you remember let me go back to the web view. If you remember the blocks view I showed you earlier, okay? Even if we customized it with an application display template, which is completely different to the default view, we kept this bar here, okay? This is the toolbar of the portlet, or the blocks portlet. We made the decision because, first of all, this bar is not displayed to guest users, so only admin users will see this bar, okay? And secondly, because we think they are complex tools that are not usually don't usually want to be customized by designers, okay? So we decided to keep this bar and customize the list of entries instead, okay? But this is, as I said, a decision made by the portlet developer or by the custom plugin developer. This is up to you to replace the whole content of the portlet with whatever the result of rendering your ADT is, or to keep some parts of your application because you consider they are important and they shouldn't be removed or override by your template, okay? So this is a very important decision you have to make, alongside with the decision of which list of content to inject into your template, whether the same list that will be used by the default view, or a new one that contains different information, or that delegates the pagination, sorting, and filtering to the ADT code. Okay. So I hope that answers your question, James. So it's up to you. That's the answer.
And are there any performance implications of providing the full list instead of the filtered list?
The more code the more code you add to the ADT, the worse the performance would be. ADT is built on top of the template engine in Liferay, which provides cache features. So meaning that the content is not rendered every time and is cached. So the performance has been tuned and improved, so you can use templates with no fear. But of course, if you make very complex operations in your template, that will affect the performance. My recommendation is try to move the most complex logic to the or delegate those operations to the Liferay API. We provide a lot of tools to obtain to do complex operations like shorten list and so on, in case you want to show them from the ADT. Or even a better practice is to reuse the same list that that you have in your custom in your default view. For example, a very good example of that is the asset publisher. Let me go back to the first list. So suppose you want to completely override the behavior of your asset publisher. Okay, that means that all the options and filtering you have here won't take any effect on your view. Okay, so if you filter by a different type, or if you change the number of items to be displayed, or you change the pagination type, or wherever, you will have to handle all that in your ADT code, and that's a lot of work. Okay, so I consider that it's more practical to focus on the on how the list will look like, or to add new features like display ratings or wherever, or to display them as a chart or wherever, and delegate the filtering, sorting to the underlying library code. Okay, so but once more, it also depends on what you need in your portlet. So you may find scenarios where you want to override the list of contents for whatever purpose, whatever reasons. Okay, but if you don't have that a very specific scenario, my recommendation is to reuse exactly the same list that is iterated in the default view in your ADTs. Okay, that will simplify a lot your work, and will allow you to focus on the display customization of your port. Okay.
Okay. And one other question. In your template handler, I noticed there was a language variable that you did nothing with. Does it not matter whether it's free marker or velocity when you're generating like the list of palette entries?
Oh, yeah. Well, the palette automatically generates the code you need for both languages, so you don't have to care about that. So this is another good question. So let me go back to the. Well, let me first show you the same. So we saw the albums for free marker, okay? But let's change to velocity. In this case, well, I'm going to remove the old code. We are now in velocity. If I click the albums, it adds a velocity code portion. Okay, so but we haven't added any specific code for velocity or free marker. We have just declared in the handler the variables we want to add to the palette. In this case, the one with a descriptive name albums, and with a variable name entries, and we declare that it is a list, and it will be iterated through a variable which is the core album, which is of the type album, and with an accessor with name. Okay, and the underlying code, the logic of the palette, will extract that information from the handler, and depending on the selected language, it will add the required script. Okay. So you don't have to provide different code in your handler for different languages. So you just have to add this. One thing you may have noticed, this albums help. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have clicked so many times. So if you look here, you have the albums help. Is simply because we haven't added in our sample. This should display a text for the albums, and it's very simple. You just have to add to your language properties a line which is the name of the variable, and with the prefix help. Sorry, with the suffix help, and the palette will automatically retrieve that that key, well, the translated key, and displayed as a brief description of what this variable does. Okay, it's something that probably we have to update the Jobbox and implement this and add this description to this variable. Okay. Yeah. So does that answer your question, James?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. So this is it for the second part. So how to apply how to support application display template in your custom plugins. I'm going to very quickly change to the IDE and just to summarize what we have covered in this second part. So again, we have 4 steps. Okay, first of all, we added our template handler, and basically we defined the type of elements we're going to iterate, the name of this template in the add template bar, and we also this is optional, of course, but we also decided to add some help hints in the developer palette of the template editor. And once we have the handler, as part of this first step, we declared in the Liferay portlet XML through this line here. Okay. As a second step, we added the specific permission support for the add portlet display or application display template, so that a portal admin can add roles with these different permissions, including, for example, adding a specific type of application display template. As a third part, we added to our custom configuration view the template selector. This is just a brief code because it is embedded in this tag lib. And the final step, probably the most important one, you decide where to render your template, okay, and which and what the list of entries is. Okay, so as in the sample, as we mentioned, we used exactly the same list that is used here in the default code of our portlet. Okay, so through these 4 steps, you will have support for application display templates in your custom portlets. Okay, so let me now move to the third and final part of this session, which is distribution of application display templates. So you have already seen an example of this distribution. If you manage to install the provided samples, you will now see in your Liferay portal in the global scope a list of application display templates. How did we do that? How did we implement that the distribution? Well, what we did was to add a hook that installs automatically those application display templates when the hook gets deployed in your Liferay portal. Okay, I guess you are familiar with hooks, but otherwise I will explain. Hooks are a type of Liferay application that allows to customize some aspects of Liferay, from views, how a specific view like user registration form looks like, to perform specific actions under some events. For example, under the event of the deployment of this of the hook itself, a developer can perform custom actions. In our case, we use that feature of Liferay hooks to install automatically a set of application display templates when the when this hook is deployed in your portal. Okay, so this code is very simple, and you can use it to install your own application display templates in your server. So it's basically, we have this startup action. Okay, so what we do here is to perform an event when the portlet gets deployed. Basically, we go through an XML, extract all the information of the templates that is inside that XML, and for every one of them, we add the application display template. In this case, application display templates are actually dynamic data mapping templates. Okay, so that's why we use this service. And this is the list of templates. Okay, this is an XML. The cool thing here is that this action doesn't contain any hard-coded reference to those specific samples that has been installed. It's very generic. It iterates over an XML and extract information from there, meaning that if you change the information in this XML without changing the startup action class, you can install different templates than the ones provided here. Okay, so this XML contains the information that that we need to install the templates automatically. Basically, is the well, we have a template key, which is like an ID for that template. We as you saw earlier, we use that key to include templates from different templates. You have a name and a description. Those are included as keys that are translated in this portal properties file. So here in this language properties file, okay, all those keys and names are translated here. So that's a good practice because you can provide different names for different languages. You also provide the language in which the template is written. In this case, all of them are free marker. You also provide a class name of this is the type of template that you are adding. In this case, this is for the album class. You provide the path to the template, which should be in the class path of the portlet. In this case, is inside this the same folder, this template folder, and you also provide the cache configuration. And with this information, this is all that we need to install to create the templates. This startup actions code will do the job. Okay. There is an extra feature performed by this code. Okay, is here. I showed you earlier how to transform the asset publisher into a map, okay, and to display contents in specific positions. So if you're familiar with Liferay, you may be wondering, okay, where do we get the localization information from? Because that's not a default field in Liferay. So there's a way to extend the available information for every type of content in Liferay, and those are the custom fields. Okay, custom fields are, as the name says, customizable parts of information that you can use to extend the data of a web content or blog, for example. So we use that to add a new field, which is geolocation in the blogs for blogs. So since we distributed that example alongside this hook, this is the code I mentioned at the map, and it requires this geolocation column or field to be available. We made sure through this startup action that this field was installed in case it's not available in the system. So this code here basically adds a new field, a new geolocation field to the blog's entry type. So now if you edit a blog in your Liferay portal after deploying this hook, you will see a new field which is with the name geolocation, which is a very simple text field where you have to type the latitude and longitude separated by a comma, and then your blog will be displayed in the map when you apply the application display template map to it. So this is a way to distribute application display templates, but there are others. Another piece of material we provided, the music theme, is basically an exported file that with Liferay content that is automatically imported when the theme is deployed in your system. This is done through an utility web portlet, web plugin, the resource importer. This plugin detects when a theme contains one of those files with live information, a LAR file, and automatically imports the contents of that file as a new, in this case, as a new website with those content. Okay, this is a cool way of distributing things because what the user obtains at the end is, as in this case, a full website. it has a drawback, and it is that it is tied to a Liferay version. So you will have to use a different music theme if you are running Liferay Portal CE or E. Okay, that's the most significant drawback. But on the other hand, as I said, it's very handy, and it's another way to distribute application display templates. You have to export them and make sure that your theme contains the LAR file with them, and they will be imported. We have the resource import plugin also in your deployed in your system. Okay. So I think we are almost done with the contents I wanted to cover in this session. Are there any questions, James, on your side?
Yeah, there's actually one question. Which is better for performance, velocity or free marker?
Well, so good questions. From what we know, we haven't observed a significant difference from one language to other. The reason why we are moving to free marker is because it's easier for us to reuse tag libs. The support for GSP tag libs, which are widely used in live reviews, is provided by default in free marker, while in Velocity is not. And in order to use tag libs in Velocity, you have to do it through a Liferay utility class that we provide that grants access to some, but not to all the tag libs available in the portal. So that means if you want to make your ADTs shorter and powerful, you may want to reuse tag libs, and that's easier if you write your templates in free market. So that's one of the main reasons why we're moving to free market, and why we provide, for example, not only these examples I distributed today, but also if you notice, for every portlet in Liferay supporting ADT, we provide at least one example in the global scope. So all of them are written in free market because we tend to use it because it's more powerful, at least for to reuse the tag libs. Okay.
Yeah, there's also a lot of really cool built-ins with free marker, and it doesn't silently error on you. I think it's
probably yeah. I think it's probably
Yeah.
better, and the development experience is in my opinion, better. So we're moving to it, and for example, in audience targeting, which is another cool application that is new in the marketplace, and it's been built with a new platform, which is the Liferay OCI support, and all the views has been written with free marker. So you can achieve the same you can do in the Liferay ESPs with free marker. So and the result is very is familiar if you're used to work with the ESP. So as I said, I'm not sure about performance, but in terms of development experience, I would recommend free marker.
Also, if you need a high performance, wouldn't you also want to set the cacheability to true, so that it's only compiled once?
Oh well, yeah, that's true. So there's a bunch of settings in your. Well, maybe I can show you mine. Let me open it, and now I will share the screen. So.
And also, while we're waiting, there's one other question about tag libs. Using a tag lib from an ADT doesn't impact performance.
So well, of course, at the end, what ADT does is to calculate a string that is the result of rendering that template. And of course, if you add more and more tag libs, the process of that template will be heavier. So it will take more time to the template processor to resolve all the templates and the templates and the tag libs inside. So but it affects the performance of when you change the template and it renders before it gets cached. the performance would be worse. But when it's cached, you should not observe any difference. I would recommend, as I said, to keep the code as small as possible, but I encourage to reuse taglibs if you want to obtain exactly the same view that taglibs provide, because they encapsulate not only display code, but also permission checking, and also it's as I said, it's one of the advantages of using FreeMarker, and we haven't observed serious performance impact when using taglibs. Of course, it depends on the complexity of the taglibs you're using and how you're using them, but I wouldn't say that. So I will encourage you to use them. So I wanted to share. Well, what you're now seeing is the my portlets properties. Okay, so if you take a look here, there are some cache properties that you can set up. So, for example, if you so this one, for example, controls the modification check interval of your templates, meaning that you can set in specific time, like in minutes, to for your cache to refresh or to check if there's any modification in your templates. So if you set it to 0, then you are telling Liferay not to wait to check the modification. This is something that you should only set to 0 in development environments. Okay, but it's useful because you are sure that the content you are obtaining are fresh. You are not getting any cache content. Oh, well, I mentioned it earlier. These are the other variable here, these restricted variables. So by default, is set to the service locator. Okay, that means that the service locator variable is not exposed to the Liferay, to the ADTs, to the application display templates. But if you remove it in your portlets properties, then you unlock it, and you can use this variable from your templates. Okay. So, are there any other questions on your side, James?
Yeah, I had one last question. So, what are you working on for Liferay 7? What can we expect in the future?
Well, that's a very good questions. We are working on many things, including a new architecture for plugins based on OCI to make them more modular. So for application display templates, one of the main goals we have is to support this model, and so that all these new OCI portlets can still use application display templates. It's one of the things we're doing now. That involves some changes in the way application display templates are handled in plugins. So that means I will probably document and explain you guys in a new session how to do this with in OCI modules. But that's one of the things we're working. And regarding features, we want to, of course, extend ADTs to almost all the applications in Liferay. We have already in 7.0 added ADT to the language portlet, to the breadcrumbs portlet, to the RSS portlet, and we are continuing adding support to more and more portlets. We want to extend the editor so that we provide more information, and you can also preview your changes and even undo your changes in case you want to go back to a previous version. This is integrated with a cool feature that our friends from the Brazil office are implementing. This is the versioning of templates. You will be able to get history with the different versions of your ADTs, and therefore you will be able to go back to a previous version. Okay, so I think those are the headlines. And well, I mentioned it earlier. We also want to provide a fine-grained permission handling so that you can lock specific variables and the specific services, but not all the services because now it's an all or nothing approach, and we want to provide a more complex permission handling. So well, I think those are the main paths we are working on. And of course, any suggestions from your side are welcome. You can well, write in the forums with your suggestions, or you can add them as a feature request in our community site. And the ones that get more votes or more support will be implemented faster. So I encourage you to add them there. And of course, and also as a keynote of this session, I will ask you to go through all the samples provided and play with them. Try to get more familiar with application display templates and write your own and share them. So if you think you have written very cool templates, you can share them or you can publish them in our marketplace, or you can share your projects in GitHub, or try to use it and share your result, guys, because this is a very cool feature, and that will be even more important in 7.0 with the improvements we have in mind. So I think we're done. If there aren't any more questions, I think we can finish the session. And so, are there any more questions, James? Or
I don't see any right now. I think we covered most of them. So if you have any other questions, just be sure and stick them in IRC or Twitter. Even we're watching Twitter as well. So just a quick note, I did update the sample code on gist, on the gist.github, I guess it's gist, I think gist.github.com, so that if you're watching this on the video recording, just know that the code is correct on the examples if you want to try them out yourself.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, so I don't see any other questions, so I think we'll close for now. Thank you very much, Eduardo, for joining. Yeah,
Thank you for a t-shirt.
Yeah. So the T-shirt is awesome. Can you show us the T-shirt one more time, just to encourage people to go? Yeah.
Sound
okay. Awesome.
For everything.
Yeah. I tried to up the production value. Okay. So thanks again, everyone, for joining, and we'll close for today, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. So thanks again, Eduardo. Hope you guys learned a little bit about ADTs. I know I use them on a daily basis. They're my favorite feature of Liferay 6.2. So I'm looking forward to some of the work that Eduardo and his team is doing for the next version of Liferay. So, okay, bye-bye. See you next time.
Thank you very much.